Hey guys, what's going on? It's Scott, and today in this video I just wanted to talk about moving leads from one ESP to another ESP. One of the problems historically has been uploading large amounts of leads or big files to the new ESP that the marketer wants to use. A lot of ESPs have restrictions for their own protection so that people aren't purchasing random files of data or whatever and moving them in to start marketing. Well, we've solved that problem by allowing marketers to upload a file of leads into ListFlex, clean them, validate them, do all the regular stuff, and then from there choose, a destination or multiple where if your new ESP is set up and ready to go and you can API leads in, you can take that file after creating a list in ListFlex and drip those leads in at any rate you want. So if you want 1,000 a day, 500 a day, or whatever number you choose that you're comfortable with, you can slowly drip those leads in to your new destination. So in this video, I'm going to quickly set up a new list. I'm going to upload leads so that you can see what that looks like. And then we're going to set up a client order so that you can see how easy it is to just map the list to the ESP. In this case, we're going to use GetResponse. And the API has already been created for the sake of time, and you'll see how that goes. So first things first, since this is a file that is ours or would be yours, we'll set it up under the in-house vendor account. So the in-house account, we'll click here, we'll go up here, and we're going to click on Create New List. So I'm going to go a little bit quick here just for the sake of time. Let's see here. Openers from other ESP. There's no cost associated with this. Vertical, we'll just say it's BizOp. No rev share. Advanced rules. The advanced rules is another tutorial, but it determines how many times a lead can leave the system. So in this case, I'll just do advanced and I'll say it can leave 5 times, and we'll lock it for 2 days, and then we'll make it available forever if we ever need it for anything else. No sales rep. Let's see here. So scrubs are important. Simple is the suppression list in your system. The elite is the suppression list in the ListFlex system, which is about 10 or 11 million records now, which I recommend everyone use every time. Level 1 looks for spam traps, and 3 is validation, and a whole list of other things. This should almost always be used if you're going to ever send leads to an ESP. Some of these other things we can choose yes on. You can watch the videos and other tutorials on how these work. We'll append these leads really quickly as well. Dedupe, let's just dedupe this list against itself. We'll go back 60 days, it doesn't matter because we're just loading a file. I'm not going to require any fields, I'm just going to load up whatever I have. I'm not worried about the countries again because it's my own list, and then I want to accept these leads if they basically pass all these filters and all these checks and all these rules, so upon import. So I'm going to save that list. Okay, I'm going to come over here and click on this icon to upload the file. We'll choose the file, it's going to be other ESP leads. It's going to be a comma delimited file. It does have a header row, and yes, it does have an opt-in date. Upload, it's going to ask us to map the fields. Let's do that fast. Email, phone, sign up date. Let's see here. Address, city, state. Let's see here. Zip. Country and IP. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is preview this quickly, make sure that all my fields are mapped properly. First, last, email, phone, import, or date subscribed, country, IP. Okay, it looks good. All right, so we'll click out of that, and then we'll hit upload data. Okay, cool. So basically what's going to happen now is the system's going to pull that file in. It's going to run all the filters and all the checks that we just set up on that list. But while it's doing that, let's go to the client account and set up an order so that these leads can be dripped to, we're going to say, in this case, GetResponse. So we're going to move this file to our new ESP, which is GetResponse. So we'll click on GetResponse as the client or the destination. And we are going to choose Send Leads. And in this case, we are going to use live feed. The integration is already set up, which is a different tutorial as well. So we'll pipe it into list number 555 or whatever list it is. Cutoff date. What's important about the cutoff date is the system's gonna go look, and in this case back to midnight, and it's gonna pull through any lead from that point forward. So we just uploaded the file, like as we speak here, a minute ago, whatever. But it will always go back to the exact point that you want and pull leads through. And the reason that's important is because if you uploaded the file today and a few days later you're like, oh man, I forgot, all you have to do is set that cutoff date, the system will pick it up, and then it'll follow the rules that we're going to do here in a second. So when the lead turns, in this case we want the leads to just go out as they come in, and that's 0 hours, which is kind of like real time. Daily cap, there's no daily cap here. Now we're just going to be piping these over. And the status, I'll just do pause for now for the sake of the tutorial. Start time you can ignore. This is if you want to start the order in the future. Delay between posts. So this is where you have the ability to throttle the leads into an ESP, or in this case get response. So maybe you want the system to send one lead every 10 seconds. Maybe you want to send one lead every 30 seconds or a minute or 10 minutes, whatever the case is. Let's do 230 seconds. The system's going to pick up a lead and post it in every 230 seconds. Obviously, there's a lot of flexibility here, but it gives you the ability to load that file. The system will pick it up, and it'll just drip those leads in. Now, obviously, you have to take into account how much time it's going to take to load a file. So if you have a large file, it's going to take a while. But the circumstance remains the same, and it's that you can have the system make one API attempt every 230 seconds until the file is all delivered. Let's see here. So what we'll do is there's no overall cap. I want all the leads to go, so I'll leave that blank. There's no lead cost associated here, and I'm just going to send in the first name and email into the GetResponse account. The list that I'm going to send is the one I just set up, and that was the clickers and openers. So that's the list we're going to pipe over. The dedupe setting, this basically is a setting that ensures that your client, in this case the client is GetResponse, doesn't get any duplicates. I showed you a dedupe setting on the import, which is where when you're importing leads, you're not accepting dupes. You also have that same luxury on the back. So maybe we're sending more than one list, but you still don't want the ESP to get duplicates. In that case, no problem. You can either leave a no limit or 60 or 90 days or whatever. No limit, in my experience, is the best option for ESPs. Then you have a bunch of other things that you can do as far as nitty-gritty in what you send to this list in the ESP. Scheduling, which is, maybe there's certain hours of the day you want to send leads and so forth. But in this case, we're just uploading a file and we want to drip them in. So you can include or exclude countries, gender, states, zip codes, all kinds of cool stuff. But we're going to skip that for the tutorial, and we're going to set up this order. So I'll uncheck that. I'll hit get leads. Okay, so now the order is created. Let's go back and see. Let's go to outgoing posts and see our order here really quickly. And let's see, get response. And here it is. The order we just set up right now. It's currently paused. And what we're going to do is go to the dashboard and see how that order is looking. And let's see here, clickers and openers. Okay, cool. So there it is. There's the list. We imported 203 leads so far. 20 leads were rejected. Why were those leads rejected? Well, there's level 3 email fail, which means the leads were invalid, which means they're never going to get to your ESP or even enter the system. They've been blocked. And 16 hit the elite scrub, which is a suppression file that everybody should use that's filled with a host of threat related email domains, bots, traps, all kinds of stuff that we've collected over the years. So essentially, that's really it. You can grab a file, you can load it up, you have a client or a destination already set up and in place. In this case, it was GetResponse, and you get to choose how you drip them in and how quickly they are dripped in so that you're never overloading or flooding your ESP and raising any red flags. So I hope this tutorial helped. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. Thanks.